Dr. Pepper, ice. What's happening, everybody? It's Richard here, 2 seconds. Yeah, that's about better. And I am back today with another video. You might be thinking, Richard, you still haven't fixed your curtains. Correct, I still haven't fixed my curtains because I'm a young man, I'm lazy when it comes to household stuff, so the curtains can wait, and that is a coffee and a toasty wrapper on the ground. I'm not really doing myself any favours when it comes to housework at the moment, but hey ho, hope everyone's been having a good week. I can't remember, I think my last upload was maybe like a week ago or something like that. I've got a couple of uploads coming this week with the launch of my new site and all that kind of stuff. Super excited to share that with everybody. Think it's really going to help certain people and certain businesses, and it's also going to give me a drive to, you know, provide more valuable content as well. I think sometimes on YouTube I can get into just like chatting a lot and whatnot, so this is going to give me a bit more focus to really push forward on actual valuable content. So what am I talking about today? So the reason this video's popped up into my head, you've obviously seen the title, is that a couple of days ago I was talking to someone and they said that they wouldn't take advice of anyone who made less than £1 million a year. And I obviously asked them, like, well, what do you make a year? And they were like, well, just now 40 grand or something. And by the way, for their age, that was a good wage. But they're starting up like a e-commerce style business, and I said, look, like, I mean, funny, I earn a lot more than 40k, and I could probably give you advice that would really benefit you, and you've actually asked me for different stuff before, so what makes it, you know, £1 million plus a year is the only people you take advice from? I think that person had a wee think and maybe realised what they'd said had been a bit silly. And I'm just going to go into that a little bit more, because when I look on the internet and look at people, you know, try to provide advice and different stuff, that's what people most commonly go straight for, is how much do you earn, and if they don't earn something that they believe is appropriate, generally the person who's judging doesn't earn anywhere near that, they're automatically flunked off as being someone who's not worth listening to. So I'm going to drop some nuggets on that, some comparisons, and what I want to hear from everyone at the end of this video is whether or not you would take advice from someone who makes less than £1 million per year. So in terms of learning from people, I think you can learn something from pretty much everybody, right? Regardless of earning potential and all that kind of stuff. There's stuff you can learn in general from everyone, maybe not always business stuff, but everyone has something valuable that they can teach you, in my opinion, right? So someone who makes £1 million a year has to make about 19 grand a week, right? And I mean, yeah, I know people who make a lot more than £1 million a year, I know people that make a lot less, but I just want to put that into your heads. That's what someone needs to make a week to gross £1 million a year, which is obviously a really decent yearly income. Let's think about this. Let's say you're looking for finance advice or insolvency advice. Let's say your business is going through, you know, some tough times, and you're looking for distressed business restructure. You're thinking to yourself, you know, I really need to speak to someone that's good about this and need advice. And let's say you speak to someone, now, most of the time you're not going to be able to speak to someone who's a partner at one of the big four, like KPMG, Deloitte, places like that, right? So most of the time you're going to speak to someone who's just an associate there, maybe an associate partner, junior partner, depending on the size of your business. Now, if you are a partner at Deloitte, you don't know how hard that is to do. It's so difficult, right? You make on average £880,000 per year if you're based in London. People at KPMG in the same role make roughly £775,000, so about £100,000 less. And these are the best guys at the biggest firms when it comes to accountancy, insolvency, restructure, merger and acquisitions. They do all that kind of stuff. And that's what the top guys make, or girls, sorry, at those companies in the big four. So if you contacted KPMG and you said, look, company's going through some distress, we need to put this down the pan, you're probably going to be dealing with someone. If you don't have any connections there, I'm lucky I have some good connections at KPMG, so if I was in that situation, I'd be able to speak to someone higher up the ladder straight away. But if you're just going in, you're going to be speaking to someone, the person who's going to be dealing with your insolvency, potential insolvency, or just dealing with your case, it's probably going to be on 60 grand a year. The guys I know, they're about 160, 170,000 a year. And you're saying that you wouldn't listen to them. Or maybe you're not saying that, but you're seeing the way I'm explaining it and understanding, actually, you know what? These people have a huge amount of value. So let's think about, I think the finance one's just a good way to describe it. The guys and girls who are on 800 grand a year at Deloitte, right? That's probably taken them 25, 30 years being an insolvency practitioner, a chartered accountant, fund accountant at some of the biggest firms in the world to get to that point. And you, the person who has a normal job, makes an okay living, not that there's anything wrong with that, would not listen to them because they don't make over £1 million a year. Excuse me guys, do any of you think that's a little bit stupid? There's nobody here, by the way, but if there was people here, they'd be like, that's fucking stupid. Let's say you've got a legal case, you're being sued for a large amount of money, you're being accused of a crime you didn't or did commit, you're going through a divorce and you think you're getting fleeced in your divorce. You think to yourself, you know, I need a legal professional, I need someone who is very, very good at what they do to help assist me in my case to give me the best chance of winning. Or you might be pursuing someone in that case as well. I've been on both the sides of that argument. And you think to yourself, you know, I need a good lawyer. I need someone who's, you know, £200, £300, £500 an hour, right? And you know, actually, let me calculate this quickly. A lawyer at £300 an hour, which is about the most I've paid, what you call it, working 40 hours per week, would make 12 grand a week. So they wouldn't make enough to be over £1 million. So you need that person to work on your case, but obviously, since that person doesn't make over £1 million, they're not good enough to work on your case. You see how silly this is starting to sound now? You go to someone who has the best experience, the best, you know, what you call it, results in cases similar to your own. You go to someone through recommendation of someone you know has been in a similar situation. You go there because that person is experienced, reputable, and has the results. And, you know, the team around them, legal assistants and whatnot, to make sure that you have the best chance of winning your case. Why? The lawyers, the best lawyers I know in Glasgow, they're making, you know, a couple of £100 grand a year, are similar to the partners I'm speaking about, the people who have been grafting for 30 years, 30 years of results in court, 30 years of dealing with cases, 30 years of experiencing some losses along the way, learning tough lessons, you know, all that kind of stuff, but they're not good enough to give advice because they're not millionaires, or they don't make over £1 million a year. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. The perception of value being wholly financial is absolutely crazy. If you were fitting out your bathroom in your house and someone gave you a quote, one quote for your bathroom was 10 grand, one quote was 5 grand, one quote was 3 grand, who would you go with? If you were going on the logic of, you know, money presents value, you'd pay £10,000, who would I go with? Whoever's giving me the best materials, the best service, carries the best reviews for the price, whether that's 2 grand, 4 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever, that's who I'm going to pick, because my perception of value is based on results, the quality of the materials of the service in this situation, and their experience and confidence in delivering the project to my standard. That's what I would base it on. As business owners, we all have accountants, we all have, whether you're using a big firm like KPMG, you're using a local firm, whether you just get someone to fill out a self-assessment, like we all, if you don't use an accountant, you should, I believe in using them because they're worth the weight in gold, yeah, if you have a good one. But we're all using accountants who probably don't make over £1 million a year, but during all this coronavirus stuff, if you were thinking, Christ, my business could go down, I need to apply for a CBILS loan, I need to find out what I'm entitled to, who did you go to? You went to your accountant, or you should have, not Facebook. You went to your accountant was able to facilitate what you needed and give you clear-cut advice on your business's finances, your access to lending and grants. That's who you went to for advice, and they are more than likely not a millionaire. Now, obviously there's going to be exceptions. There's the odd accountant who is a millionaire, or there'll be a partner at a company who's invested very well. And now, if you're making over 800 grand a year, you should be a millionaire in terms of your stocks portfolios, your assets and whatnot. But you're not making £1 million a year. And this is one of the real problems nowadays, is that, you know, people, especially young people under 30, because there's so many of these millionaire gurus online, I've never professed to be a millionaire. If you go on my channel and look, there's me saying, there's a video, am I a millionaire, that's 3 seconds long, and I just go, no, and turn it off. Like, But I know how much value I bring to businesses and have brought in the past and have brought to my own, and it was fucking hard to do. The contacts I had to make and all that kind of stuff was so tough. So yeah, that took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you know, I made mistakes, I made good connections, I've done loads of things right, and I think, you know, from those mistakes that I made and the stuff I had to learn, I could teach a lot of people off the back of that. Not teaching a course for that, but you know, on an individual one-to-one basis, should I want to, I could go in and be like, look, here's what I've done, blah 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 blah. And you know, the connections I've made over that period of time as well are worth a lot of money to me. And you know, the amount of time, especially as a young guy with fucking tattoos, dressed like a bit of an idiot, getting people like that to take you seriously is so tough. It was so hard for me to go in and actually be taken seriously by people who are these millionaires that you talk about. And you know, now that I'm in and with them and have brought them opportunities and done projects with them and all that kind of stuff, like, I'm respected by them as someone who brings opportunities and, you know, gets stuff done. And I think by, you know, leveraging people, regardless of whether they make $1 million a year or not, leveraging people's experience and relationships can save you so much time and so much money, regardless of really what they cost to do that work. What young people, young entrepreneurs, and older ones as well, tend to want, right, is they want someone who, you know, they respect because they make a lot of money, right? And that to them is, say, over £1 million, right? So they want someone who makes over £1 million, has experience being a millionaire, multi-millionaire, deca-millionaire, right? And they want to also pay them £40 an hour for their advice. Guys, what do you think about that? Someone makes £1 million a year, £40 an hour, that sound good to you? No. Based on £40 an hour, that person would have to work over 1,000 days, every hour of every day, to make £1 million. So the perception of value in young entrepreneurs these days is so far gone. People would rather see someone like Tai Lopez, right? I've never met Tai Lopez, don't really have any opinion on him. I wouldn't use any of his products personally. People see Tai Lopez, hey guys, I'm in my garage with a Lamborghini and the fucking whatever. They would rather give him $600 for a fucking course online, right? Because this guy is perceived to be this multi-millionaire, amazing person. They'd rather give that than get a local advisor at £200 an hour for 3 hours, who could sit and look at your business and actually tell you what you needed to do going forward, and who could end up an investor in your business and all this kind of stuff. Or you could go and pay for that course that's going to teach you some skill that's probably never going to fucking work. But £600 from a course from this multi-millionaire, and the course was meant to be £7 million, but now it's down to 600 for you for this one-time only deal, is cheap. But £200 an hour from someone who has real life experience in your area, who can actually help and make difference to your business, is too expensive. That is just crazy to me, crazy. I don't know why, because I've always been able to, you know, understand value. When I was going to events, I was buying the dearest tickets I could, whether it was £1,500, £2,000, and that's before I was making real, like, decent money, you know, a couple of £100,000. That's before I was making that. And now, seeing how people are so, now obviously not everyone's financial situation can cater for that, of course not, but people who I know have decent businesses would rather, you know, pay someone £40 an hour who's really probably not that good at what they do, because it's the cheaper option. But they won't respect people unless they make a lot of money. So you're doing one thing. At least if you were just sticking with the millionaires thing, sticking with that and being true to it, it would make sense. But, you know, saying it and then wanting stuff done on the cheap, what do you expect your results to actually be? Just to be clear, I know a lot of people that do an amazing job at £40 an hour and less, right? Anyone who's out there grafting every single day, I don't care if you get paid £8 an hour or £800 an hour, if you're putting the graft in, you're doing something to sustain yourself, your family, and you're out there hustling, getting it done, I have respect for you, right? But that's my point. Your value as an individual and what you can bring is not perceived by the amount of money that you get paid per hour. I've paid people upwards of £1,000 for, you know, a couple of hours of their time. It's a lot of money, and I've paid some people, well, fucking £30 an hour to carry out certain tasks that they are good at, and they've done a good job as well. They're both valuable individuals, and that value is not drawn down from what they actually get paid. Now, you've heard my opinion, and now I would like to hear yours. Would you take advice? Would you have someone as an advisor or a consultant in your business who makes less than £1 million a year? Just bearing in mind, you know, the partners at KPMG, the partners at places like Deloitte, how much they make, the lawyers that you might use, all those kind of people and what they get paid. Would you still take their advice? I personally would. I've got advisors that make under £1 million a year. I've actually got people that I've used as advisors in certain specific situations for certain, you know, real specialist consultancy positions that make less than me, right? It's not that the value is not then drawn down from how much they make. When you need someone who has a specific skill set in a specific area, you pay the price for the value, whether that's a small price or a large price, regardless of what they earn per year. So let me know down below what your opinion is after watching this video. This week we'll see the launch of richarddixon.com. There's a 10-minute long video coming up about that. I'm going to take you through everything we've got on that website, the services coming forward, and what I'm really trying to achieve in 2021. But until then, I'll leave you all to it. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, a dislike if you thought it was shit, and also feel free to subscribe as well if you'd like to keep up to date with the content on the channel. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace.